Make sure you don't miss a thing. Go to starzology.com/newsletter and sign up. Welcome to the Starzology Astrology Podcast. I am your host, Alison Price, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Arwynne O'Neill.
Hello, Alison. It's great to be here.
So nice to have you once more. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the July 2026 ASTRO OVERarch.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the main astrological movements that's going to occur during July. And in general, we're going to be talking about ingresses, which is planets changing signs. We'll be talking about lunations, new moons and full moons. And we'll be talking about stations and retrograde periods, if any.
Absolutely.
And anything else that kind of crops up as well, we'll be talking about that.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. So we like to do our monthly Astro Overarches because basically I think they're really aimed at people who are learning astrology. It's not necessarily going to be horoscopes. Well, it certainly isn't going to be horoscopes for each sign, which we did do very, very early on. But now we're finding that it's easier to just provide the actual astrological movements so that people can understand it and apply it to their charts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're listening and you have your chart in front of you, you can know what's happening and apply it to where those planets are touching your chart.
Yeah. So that's why we're doing it. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And also to get an overall flavor. I like how we do the elements and we talk about like, oh, it's starting out watery and it's ending fiery or whatever.
We'll get to that at the end. Yes.
Yeah, we will.
So actually there's not much happening in the first week in July, apart from FIFA in Vancouver, let's face it.
Right?
But no, it's huge.
Oh my gosh. I was here for the Olympics in 2010 and were you?
No, I wasn't here then.
Oh my God. I've never seen so many people in one place in my entire life.
Wow.
I had a friend recently who went to Tokyo. Visited a girlfriend in Japan. And he said when he came back to Vancouver, he was just like, where is everybody? But yeah, oh my gosh, the Olympics in Vancouver, it was the craziest I've ever seen. Like literally every street, every sidewalk, every hour of every day was packed with people, just wall to wall bodies.
Yeah.
And I think we're in for the same.
We're in for that because they are closing 5 blocks of Granville Street. It's going to be totally closed off for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And I see they've got a new number 1 bus going to be circulating for 6 weeks. It's just going to do a loop around the city.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I actually saw the FIFA bus the other day, which has on it, the front, it's got a meter diameter nose of a football. And it's known as the FIFA bus.
Right. Or as we would call them, soccer balls in if you're not.
Yeah. And I think it's the one they use for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer at Christmas time, but now it's got a football on it.
That's so funny. And also like our science world, the dome, our big geodesic dome is now like all tricked out as like a FIFA ball.
And down here at Robson Square, they've got all the balloons. They've got all the balls are hanging on the walkway. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So I know it's kind of happening, right?
Yeah, totally.
So that I know the first thing about football, but I know.
No, I know. No.
All I do know is
goal. That's all I know.
Yeah, but we'll definitely be exposed to it for sure. So that's likely to happen. But astrologically, so the first thing that's going to be happening in July on the 7th is Neptune is going to station retrograde.
Yeah.
So that means it's going to begin its retrograde period for the year, and that will be at 4 degrees Aries.
Okay.
Yeah. And which is fine. I mean, the outer planets always retrograde once a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the 9th, Venus enters Virgo. So it's going to leave Leo and enter Virgo. And so that means that it's going to be in its fall.
Yeah.
Which is not a good place for Venus. Virgo is not a good place. But I have a Venus in Virgo, so I will be getting a Venus return, which is when the Venus comes around to be the exact same spot.
My partner has that as well.
Oh, really? Yeah. So he will also be getting his Venus return as Venus goes through Virgo. So,
I mean, anyone who has Virgo placements in their chart, which I know we do.
We do, don't we?
We also have that little Venus touching those planets.
Yeah.
I mean, Venus moves pretty quickly, so it's just a little tiny. It's not like a huge transit, but it's nice.
Yeah.
I love a good little Venus.
So some of my thoughts on Venus going through Virgo is Virgo is not the best place for Venus, the love planet, as there can be a tendency to pick on your love interest. And although you can clearly see their imperfections, you must ask yourself if nitpicking and complaining is worth straining your relationship for. And I in general, I was.
Spoiler alert.
I know I was one for this. I would tend to pick away. So I'm not saying your partner's going to do it to you, but
I believe it was Michael Luton. He had I think his book was called like the Astrology of Childhood or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was all about the combinations of signs that you could have as parents.
Mm.
And even though my partner and I do not have children, but the combination of Virgo and Scorpio, they said having a Scorpio and a Virgo as parents is like being pecked to death by birds.
Yeah.
And it's not the angry birds necessarily, but it's just like they will constantly have advice for you and they will expect you to do certain things and they will be incredibly detail oriented about their expectations for you. Yeah. And I can imagine that because we're like that with everybody.
Yeah.
Like, God forbid you tell us you haven't seen one of our, like, you know, a movie we feel like you should have seen. And we're just like, wait, what? No, okay, you're coming home and watching this with us right now. Like, I can't believe you haven't seen that movie. We literally just did that to my mother this weekend.
Wow.
I'm like, you haven't seen Magnolia? What?
Oh.
Like, well, I guess clear the next 2.5, 3 hours because that's what's happening now.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. And in general, you know, Venus is feminine. Venus loves, acquires, and appreciates. And Venus represents young women, girlfriends, sweethearts, and accountants. Mm-hmm. And Venus rules Taurus and Libra.
Yeah.
So, that will be the Venus move that's happening.
Love it.
Then on the 14th, we have the new moon in Cancer. So it's going to be at 22 degrees Cancer, and it's a perfect time to start new things related to your inner family dynamics.
Right.
Be aware of how you react to triggers from those close to you and try to see how your responses may escalate situations or not. Mm-hmm. Share more compassion and love now.
All right.
You know, the moon rules Cancer, so it's in its own sign. Mm-hmm. And the new moon is generally, well, it's always, for us, it's always in the summer when it's the new moon in Cancer. And it comes when it's like summer barbecue days and those kind of family-oriented go down to the lake businesses.
Well, and since we're living in North America, both the U.S. and Canadian Canada Day and U.S. Independence Day are both in Cancer. So,
right.
July 1st and July 4th.
Yeah. So they're both Cancer countries.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Patriotic.
We need to do an episode about that. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And a little bit more about the moon. The moon is feminine, passive, reflective, and moody.
Yep.
And the moon represents your mother, cooks, and caregivers. Mm-hmm. And of course, as I said, the moon rules Cancer. Yeah. So that's that one. Then on the 18th, we've got Uranus is trining Pluto. Now, this is the first part of 5 in total, and I think we've spoken about this previously, and I will put a link to that. I don't want to go into it too much because it's one of those outer good connections, Uranus trine Pluto.
Yeah, it's a trine, so
it's a good thing.
It won't be super noticeable, but looking back on it, it will be.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And if you were around when it was Uranus was squaring Pluto, there were 7 squares back in 2012, and that kind of was a lot of people fell under that one.
That was a nightmare for me.
Was it? Yeah. So hopefully this one should be good, and anyone who's got Uranus conjunct Pluto in their chart this will affect them as well. Yeah.
Yeah. 60s and 70s.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then on the 20th, Jupiter trines Neptune because Neptune is in Aries and Jupiter's. So anyway, Jupiter is going to trine Neptune on the 20th. So again, we've got trines. We've got a lot of trines.
Yeah, nice.
But on the same day, Jupiter is actually going to make an opposition to Pluto.
Oh, wow.
So, but it won't last that long, but still one wants to kind of pay attention to that. Yeah.
Yeah, big movements of the outer planets. That's important.
Yeah. And then on the 21st, we've got Jupiter sextiling Uranus again, right? Mm-hmm. They're all in position that they're making all these little connections there, but we're not going to go into great deal about the aspects. We're not necessarily going to be looking at that, you know.
But just be aware that there's a lot of outer planetary stuff happening.
Yeah.
But in this case, they're mostly positive aspects, which is interesting. It just means that, you know, the world stage might be a bit more front and center.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And there might actually be positive developments on the world stage for change.
During the
That'll
summer.
be nice. What? Yeah. So there might be some good news actually coming out of politics and world events these days.
Yeah.
Because that's what outer planets
Do. They do.
Yeah.
And then on the 22nd, the sun enters Leo. Yay!
We love it.
So the sun's coming out of Cancer and it's going into Leo. So we're happy about that.
We are, yes.
Get ready for some creative fun and play. Take time for leisure activities and focus on what makes you happy. Use this dynamic celestial energy of the sun in Leo to do something that warms your heart and the souls of others.
Yeah.
Be generous of spirit and you will experience contentment. Now you can easily find joy in ordinary things.
Love it.
So I know you've got your midheavens in Leo, so you're going to get the sun crossing over. I've got 3 planets in Leo. I'm going to get ba-bum.
Yeah.
So it's always a good time.
I mean, as if I needed another reason to love summer. But yeah, it's a great time.
It's your favorite.
It's my favorite season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the sun is masculine, warm, bright, and life-giving.
Mm-hmm.
The sun represents you as the individual, your father, and your heroes. And of course, the sun rules Leo. So Then on the 23rd, Mercury stationing direct in Cancer. So what this means is it's ending its retrograde period, and it's going to go direct in Cancer. It's still in Cancer for the whole of the month, but it was retrograde up until this point. Now it's turning direct, and I've got it at 16 Cancer, so this is a good thing.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Yeah, this change in Mercury's motion will bring relief to stalled decisions and unresolved contracts, which could have been causing delays.
Okay.
Clarity of thought will improve to make it easier for you to find solutions to creative challenges compared to the recent past. And now is a favorable time to make decisions, but it's important to be honest about your motives. In general, this period is marked by positivity and creative ideas will flow easily. While you might not be able to immediately think things through, any concepts can be explored and strengthened. So the Mercury's going direct, and it's a time to get your thoughts in order. Sign those contracts, make those appointments, and so on.
You've had 3 weeks of retrospection and thinking things through slowly and editing and revisiting and getting a second opinion.
Going back to the argument that kept coming up.
Right. That wake you up in the middle of the night. You're like, wait, what if I said this? Or why is that happening?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Tiny little digression about that. We love my tiny digression.
We do.
I woke up at 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday recently. And I mean, that's the time I wake up for work, but I woke up and I like to sleep in on my Saturdays, much to the dismay of my cats, because they like to get fed at a certain time. Anyway, long story short, I woke up and I realized that I had sent the wrong file to this graphic design company to like print a bunch of like really high res like stickers that we're going to be putting around. And I sent them the, if you know, the RGB version and not the CMYK version, which means that the blue is not going to be the same. It's not going to be proper. It's not going to match our logo. And I woke up at 6:30 in the morning and was like, oh my God, I sent the wrong version. And I'm like quickly going into Photoshop. I woke up and literally like threw on like a little bathrobe, sat at my laptop, fixed the stupid thing, sent it off at 6:30 in the morning last Saturday.
Make you retrograde.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then obviously Monday they were like, oh yeah, no problem. We've got this. I'm like, oh, thank you.
God. And it's interesting that you refer to it as CMYK, which I get it.
Yeah.
The cyan, blue, black, and
print versus screen. Yeah.
But we were always taught that you call it SMYK.
What?
CMYK, SMYK colors.
That is much faster.
and when you know, because it's a C, so it's CYMK.
Yeah.
CMYK, SMYK.
I've never heard anyone.
Okay, well maybe I know. Well, there you go. There's a little nugget of information. Right. Thank you, Mercury.
Exactly. It's one of those things you'd only ever type out. Like people don't talk about it out loud that much, right? It's so funny.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then moving on the 25th, we've got Neptune sextiling Pluto again. Now, this is an aspect that's been with us for the last 100 years. It's in my natal chart, and I'm nearly 100 years old. I don't know if it's in your natal chart, but it's in everybody's. And still, Neptune is sextiling Pluto. It's this ongoing theme. But now Neptune's in Aries, once more making a sextile to Pluto in Aquarius. This transiting aspect has been on and off for almost 75 years.
That's crazy.
And as such is considered a generational aspect. It's also in my chart where I'm saying, but my Neptune's in Scorpio, my Pluto's in Virgo, so they're different, but the sextile remains.
Yeah, because they're moving in concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in the future we need to maybe do some outer planet aspects.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're good on that.
I love the outer
planets. Yeah, we'll definitely get stuck into those.
For sure.
Next on the 26th, we've got Saturn stationing retrograde in Aries.
Ooh.
So this is at 14 Aries. So Saturn's halfway through Aries already.
Yeah.
So this indicates there is a new way of looking at what you are trying to achieve in life. Mm-hmm. It's going retrograde. It's stalling. So it's achievement, careers, parental issues, drawing the line under things and having to go back and do things. So take your time to pause and think about your next strategic move. The plan you had before may need tweaking as you move forward. Use this moment to seriously review things which you are trying to realize.
Yeah.
So we've got a combination. We've got some planets moving forward, but the outer planets are all starting to retrograde.
Yeah. And if you have Saturn in Aries natally, and you're having your Saturn return around, because that's one of those things with Saturn when it does its retrograde. Sometimes, very rarely, you'll just get one hit, but most people will get the retrograde and then the second hit, and that will be you're kind of released from the purgatory of your Saturn return at the second hit. The first hit, as if you're fans of the podcast will know, it smacked me in the face when it happened, my first Saturn return.
Yes.
And many people feel the same way. And then by the time it comes around the second time, you've actually hopefully taken the lessons of Saturn in hand and done something to put your life on the right track. Yeah. So if you are one of these people who's having their Saturn return in Aries, that might have something to do with your identity, your, being true to yourself, your quick reactions and impulsivity versus having to, do with the man.
Yeah. The red tape, the paperwork.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
And balancing that need for autonomy versus whatever you need to do to make a living, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, and because it's, what did I say? It's at 14. Did I say it's a 14? Yeah, 14 Aries. Yeah. So that's where the station is. So if you've got any planets at 14 Aries, Saturn is going to bring things to it. It's like stonewalling, right?
Yeah.
A rock and a hard place.
Right.
These are keywords for Saturn.
Right.
So whatever it is, whatever your planets there, not that I have any, but if you did, it would be,
Yeah, and people experiencing their second Saturn return right now are people who were born between 1967 and 69.
Okay.
People experiencing their first Saturn return are those born between 96 and 99.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So check your chart.
Definitely check your chart and see if it's in Aries, see where it is. But
So again, this is one of the outer planets that only retrogrades once a year, but for 4 or 5 months. Mm-hmm. So this is the beginning of Saturn's retrograde period. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in general, Saturn qualities are that Saturn limits. It's to do with times and clocks and masters. Saturn represents your father, older men, and managers. And Saturn rules the 2 signs of Capricorn and Aquarius. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's that one that's happening there. And then on the 27th, correct? Yes, on the 27th, the nodes are changing sign.
Ooh.
So the North node's going to go into Aquarius and the South node's going to go into Leo. Now they actually retrograde into these signs. So they're coming...
Right. The nodes always retrograde.
So they're coming from Virgo and Pisces. And we've actually got a podcast episode about this, and we'll link to it that you can listen to, where we've gone into it in a little bit more detail, because it only happens every, 18 months or so.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting shift.
Definitely.
So this is the 27th of July. The North node moves into Aquarius and the South node moves into Leo.
Yeah.
The nodes do linger and wobble slightly on the cusp between the 2 signs, and that is quite normal, because although we say they retrograde in general, they in the true nodes actually go direct, station, and retrograde. But it's like within a day, they just wobble and quiver as they move forward. They're not just searing through the sign. Yeah. And but in general, the North node going into Aquarius points you towards collective growth, community participation, and suggests we need a future-focused mindset. Destiny calls us to think beyond personal glory and consider the greater good, because this is for everybody, right? And then the South Node in Leo, briefly, is likely to encourage you to release of old ego patterns, attention-seeking, and the need to be center stage, which is so Leo.
Yep. Main character energy?
Yes. So the nodal retrograde shift of energy is a gentle invitation for you to let go of pride and step into shared purpose.
Yeah.
This active polarity nodal shift, because it's moving into the active signs, supports collaboration, innovation, and humanitarian ideals.
Love it.
Any personal, meaningful progress is likely to come through your cooperation, shared visions, and by caring for the wider world. So it's not a day-to-day thing. It's like a theme that's going on in the background.
Totally. But it'll be going on for a bit. So it's one of those sort of generational things, but also kind of a background radiation of the universe kind of things.
Yes. And it's very karmic, isn't it? The nodes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So whatever your nodes are in your birth chart, there's that nodal return thing, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So check your chart.
Check your chart indeed.
Yeah.
And then on July 29th, we've got the full moon in Aquarius.
Yeah.
So it's at 6 degrees Aquarius. This highlights individuality, innovation, and connection. It brings clarity to how you fit into your communities while staying true to yourself.
Love it.
This is a time for breakthroughs, fresh ideas, and some cool emotional detachment.
Yeah.
Celebrate your uniqueness, release old patterns, and open yourself to inspired visions for the future. Yeah. It's a full moon in Aquarius. It's going to be a glorious one on the 29th.
Yeah.
So that is the main astro indicators that are occurring for July. Straight up, that if you're in astrology, you want to be kind of paying attention to.
Totally.
Yeah. If you are a returning listener and enjoying the Starzology podcast, supporting the show is always appreciated. It helps us continue producing episodes and covers the costs involved in keeping the podcast online. There's a link in the show notes. So we also like to look at the elemental background variations from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. And here we're only really looking at these 6 visible planets, excluding the moon, because that's moving too fast. So we're looking at the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Mm-hmm. And what we're finding is we've got 3 in fixed, which is at the beginning of July, and then 0 in Earth. So we've got 1 in air and then 2 in water. And that's giving us 3 in cardinal, 2 in fire, and 1 in mutable. And if you click through to the blog post, I'll have the little table there to show you what's going on.
Totally.
So in general, that's giving us cardinal fire, which is, Aries, but we're actually, the sun's in Leo.
Yeah,
so
totally.
It's
still fiery. But
that's kind of the interesting vibe you get there.
Yeah.
And then with the polarities, we've got plus on the positive side, on the active side, we've got 4, and on the passive side, we've got 2.
Nice.
So it's a little balance. It's not very extreme, but what's interesting here is that we're getting this Aries push vibe, whereas actually we're in Leo.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
Super interesting.
Yeah. So that's on July the 1st. And then when we get to the end of July on the 31st, there's a slight shift. We've still got 3 in fire. We've now got 1 in earth and 1 in air and 1 in water. So fire is now the prominent element there.
Right.
Again, but now there's a shift. We've got 2 in cardinal, 2 in fixed, and 2 in mutable.
Ooh.
So there's more balance there within the modes.
Yeah.
So it's still just the prominent feature here is just fire, but there's no specific.
They're literally balanced. Yes, it's 2 and 2 and 2.
Yeah, and then if we look at the polarity, then we've got still it's the same. It's +4.
Yeah.
And and -2.
Interesting.
But the thing is that the month starts off with this Aries flavor.
Yeah.
And then just moves into a fire flavor.
Yeah, all fire.
Well,
I mean, it's all fire all the time, but
we're all fired up. It's going to be like a kind of a fiery summer. It's
fiery summer.
Optimistic.
Hot fire summer.
Hot fire summer. Hot August nights. We're not in August yet, but yeah. So this is an interesting way. And if you only count the 6 planets, you're seeing the immediate movements because the other planets are not going anywhere. And you have to discount the moon because that's moving, every 2 days it's moving. And what I like about looking at the elemental kind of overview is that it brings up things like Aries when we're not in Aries.
Right.
But if you understand what Aries means, then you can get a feel of the vibe of the actual background mode and element and polarity.
Yeah. It's about fire, individuality.
Yeah, definitely. Push. But then towards the end, it's more fire, which is the key word is inspiration. Yeah.
Love it.
It is for fire. And that's the... so it's going from an emphasis on a sign to an emphasis on an element, and that's what I'm trying to get to there.
That's super interesting.
I know. Some months it's solid what the actual sign is. The sun is in, but in this case we're getting this. It's not a disparity. What's the word? A complementary.
Diffusion.
Yeah.
Diffusion.
Another way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Interesting.
Very interesting. So as we always like to do, I have a goddess of the month. This month, I'm talking about Anya, and that is Anya. Yeah, it's actually spelled Aine, and it's Celtic, of course, because the Celtics love their crazy spellings and pronunciations. But she is the ancient Celtic goddess of summer, love, and sovereignty. She also represents wealth, and she is known as the Queen of the Fairies. She's associated with the sun and midsummer, and she brings light and abundance and fertility to the land, which is incredibly important in ancient whatever. Before we started, being able to freeze and bring forth any kind of crops we want, and have pineapples in the dead of winter, et cetera, et cetera. But she is super important in the ancient world. Her name stems from an Irish origin, which means radiance,
right,
or delight, which is fantastic. And she is the goddess of the province Munster, which I do like the cheese. I'm not sure if this is related to that, but anyway, she is, she was favored by kings, and obviously royalty from time immemorial loved the summer goddesses, because summer was when all the crops would grow and everything would flourish. And that's when you could have all of your pageants and no one was hiding away. Everyone was out in the open, and you could do all of your stuff out in public. And the better your summer was, the better your winter would be, because you could then store away all of the crops that had flourished and grown and whatnot, dry the flowers, et cetera. Everyone could get married in the summer, and hopefully, I guess, get people pregnant and whatnot.
Sure. It's the Empress, isn't it, in the tower?
It is very much the Empress. Yeah, exactly. And she's also associated with swans and red mares, apparently. So there's that. Yeah.
And maybe for our new listeners, you could just explain why we're talking about goddesses at all.
Well, okay. That is kind of like one of my little things. I am all about what I call badass goddesses. I have a book, actually, Badass Goddesses. You can look it up on Amazon. You can order it. That would be great. I put out a calendar every year, and that's kind of just my fun thing to do. I like to talk about goddesses, but not just the light, fluffy, nice, happy goddesses who tend the hearth and have lots of babies. But I like the wide spectrum of goddesses, from the war goddesses to the
And what's in the calendar?
Well, this is my July goddess, actually, for this year. And so if you happen to have my Badass Goddesses calendar for 2026, this Anya is the July goddess. Yeah.
So let me get to it. So what we're saying is that you draw original art.
I do. Yes, absolutely.
And it's all
these goddesses, and sometimes weird female
full
creatures.
color.
Yeah, full color, drawn by hand. Yeah,
this is it. So as an artist, you're drawing goddesses and women's figures, basically,
and female, crazy, weird, sometimes creatures. Like
fantasy sometimes.
Fantasy creatures.
And you do all this art, and then you compile the best works into the calendars or into the art that we're going to be able to link to this goddess.
Absolutely. And if you go to mspink.net, you will also see links to my book, my calendar, and my Redbubble shop, where you can find goddesses that you can put on phone cases, T-shirts.
And how long have you been an artist doing this, Arwynne?
Like since I was 5. But I mean, okay. I've been obsessed with goddesses only for like maybe the last almost 10 years.
Yes. Yeah. So this is really your niche, isn't it?
I mean, I think strong female characters have always been a thing.
Yeah.
My mother and my grandmother were incredibly strong and are incredibly strong female role models.
Yes.
And there was always that sort of,
So even though you're drawing the actual figure of the woman, you know the myth behind it, which informs your art.
Totally. Yeah. And it's
and that's why we're talking about the myth.
Exactly. And it's funny. I mean, there are a huge amount of mythological traditions across the world. And we tend to say, feminism as a modern thing. Well, not really, because every single culture on the face of the earth has had really strong female goddess energy. Even if they only were relegated to a certain realm, there's you would be shocked at the cultures that actually gave a great deal of sovereignty and importance to female mythological creatures. And
I think it's interesting. And then you go and each month you select for us a specific goddess that relates to the month we happen to be in because of the astrology of that month.
For sure. Yeah, exactly.
And so we've come up with Anya.
Yeah.
For July 2026.
Absolutely.
That is great.
Yeah. Yes.
So when we look at the astrology for July, what we're saying is that the sun is in Cancer and then it's going into Leo. Now, Cancer and Leo are the only two signs where there's only one planet that rules it.
Yeah.
And, no, I'm saying that the wrong way around, don't I?
No, but that's actually true because like if you are a Scorpio, you have Mars and Pluto.
Yes.
If you're Sagittarius, you've got Jupiter and...
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
So what I'm saying is that there's only two planets that only rule one sign, and that is... No, that's not true either. So anyway, what we're saying is the moon rules Cancer and the sun rules Leo. And these are the two dominant lights. The sun and the moon
don't rule any other things.
That's right.
That's the point.
That's the point.
Yeah, let's leave that all in. I think that's good.
I think so.
Yeah.
So we're working through it here.
Right. Yeah.
So what we've got is that the sun is the day light in the sky. And there used to be
moon is the light of the night.
Yeah. And they used to be called the lights. Well, they probably still are.
The luminaries.
The luminaries.
Yeah,
exactly.
They are still called that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the sun is masculine and the moon is feminine.
Right. And nothing else rules Cancer, nothing else rules Leo.
That's what we're saying.
That is, so those two signs are sort of exalted in a strange way because there is nothing else that is associated planet to sign the way those are.
That's right. So even though Mercury rules Gemini, it also rules Virgo.
Right. And even though Mars rules Scorpio, it also rules...
Yes. That's what we're saying.
But Pluto also rules Scorpio. So there's a duality with literally every other sign except for Leo and Cancer.
Yes.
And that is because, in ancient times, especially in Rome, there was something very special about the summer.
Yes.
As we just said, the summer is...
It's vacay.
When it happens. It's vacay. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's when, the lambs have been born, the crops are growing.
It's when I'm outside skating and lying in the sun and tanning.
Arwynne's out skating and tanning at the beach. Yes. She's doing what matters.
What I love most. Aside from Roger, obviously.
Yes.
But also that. Yeah.
But this is they're very two powerful signs. Yeah. And the actual point between the actual cusp between Cancer and Leo is where these planets who have their rulerships, that's where it all comes from.
Right. And there are statistics to be had out there. We're not, I don't believe, like super statistically obsessed kind of gals, but it's interesting to know that the statistics do exist. I've seen tables for the commonality of births in each month, the commonality of births per ascendant, because there are certain, especially now when births are almost always medically assisted or scheduled. It used to be that there was a almost even split between all the different ascendant signs, and now it's much more the daytime ones, especially from like 9 to 5 essentially. I mean, with doctors' hours, whatever. I mean, obviously the emergency rooms are open 24 hours a day. So, if you go to birth, you're going into birth, but or labor, as they say, whatever they say now, however you say that. But yeah, there is definitely there's a skew. There is a skew. So it's interesting to think about what the skew is for those signs, for Leo and Cancer. And are they more common? Are births in summer more common? Because
no. You see, there are more Virgos born than anybody else.
Right.
And that's because they're conceived at Christmas and New Year, and it's still a fact.
I know I've talked about this once or twice before. I was conceived pretty much, it's like exactly 9 months before my birthday was my mother's birthday.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's November 27th. I'm August 28th. So we know what she was up to on her birthday.
My God.
She had a good birthday. Yeah.
So statistically, there's more Virgo people in the world than anybody else. And we can refer to these, just bear with me, the worker bees, right? These are the worker bees, and they go out and there's lots of...
Lucky for the world.
Yes. But then when you get to Leo, this is where you got the queen bees. And there's less Leos than anything born, because it's that period between, November towards the end of the year where everyone's stressing about this and that and the other. And there just aren't that many births. Whereas the other signs, it's pretty even, Stephen.
That's crazy.
So that's why you've always got that thing. If you've got a Leo, they tend to want the drama and blah, blah, blah. But the Virgo is doing the secretarial in the background, making sure the research is done and everything's on time and all that sort of stuff. Which is kind of funny.
Late. We're like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Which is kind of interesting because I'm a Leo, you're a Virgo. It works, right?
It works well.
Yeah. But the fact that where you've got Cancer and Leo next to each other, and we've got the sun and the moon, and then the next two signs adjacent are both ruled by Mercury.
Yeah.
So that's the next planet out from the sun. And this is where these rulerships came from.
Yeah. And
then after Mercury, we've got Venus, which is Taurus and Libra.
Which, if you're going from the center being Leo and Cancer, it's you're going out one.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then the next one out is Mars, which is Aries and Scorpio.
Yeah.
Then we have Jupiter signs of Pisces and Sagittarius, and then Saturn at the very end of Aquarius and Capricorn. Because back then they only knew of the 7 planets.
Right.
So this is where this all came from. But the critical point is the cusp between Cancer and Leo.
Yeah.
And this is really what we're talking about here. And this is this month.
Yeah.
The month starts with the sun in Cancer, and it crosses this critical point and enters Leo.
Yeah.
And it's the highlight of it. It's the great time of the year,
It's fantastic. I love it.
We celebrate. We have we've got the sports. We've got the
sun doesn't
festivals.
Set until like 10 p.m.
The sun never sets. Yeah. So it's very interesting astrologically why that is, and that these two lights, the luminaries, only have dominance over these very positive months of the year.
Yeah. And if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, we know, we love you, we see you. Your mileage may vary. but yeah.
But the signification of it still remains, because it was created in Greeks and Romans and whatnot, and Babylonians. Yeah. Very interesting that is.
Definitely.
Okay, so this has been great. We've been talking about the July 2026 Astro Overarch, what's been moving, the ingresses of the planets, the lunations, the new and full moons, and also any stations of any importance whatsoever. We've briefly touched on some of the outer aspects, and we will dig into that a little bit later. And I think the biggest shift this month is really the nose. That's going to be the big story of
for sure. And go check out our episode about that.
Absolutely. I'll put the link to that below. Yeah. And I do encourage everyone to click through to the blog post where there's more information about what we're talking about here as well. Yeah. So if you have found value in this episode, please do consider sharing it with anybody who'd be interested. Make sure to give us a like and support the show.
Yeah.
It does help us. And I want to give a thank you to all those who have stepped up and supported the show financially. We really appreciate it, because the podcast, it doesn't just happen. So we're trying our very best to grow this for you and provide fabulous information. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And 5-star reviews always help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Help spread the word.
Absolutely. So make sure you're getting our newsletter, and you can sign up at starzology.com/newsletter, and make sure you're getting Arwynne's newsletter, and you can find Arwynne at...
I am at mspink.net, MSPINK, and I send out my weekly newsletter every Saturday.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Arwynne, for joining us today. And to our listeners, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks so much for getting this far through the episode. I just want to take a moment to tell you about the two main options of my astrology services. So the first one is coaching. If you are an aspiring astrologer, and by that I mean someone who's perhaps a hobbyist astrologer or someone who's learning astrology or a student, or you've got a few books and you've been doing it for a while, but perhaps you need a little bit of help to bring it all together, then maybe getting some astrological coaching from me would be the answer for you. The astrology coaching I offer is a 1-hour session on Zoom, and it's tailored to answer your particular questions. For example, if you have issues with natal chart readings, we can go there. Or if you're having problems working with your forecasting, we can go there. Or even basic astrology stuff, or even getting yourself organized for your astrology business. The idea is that astrological coaching will answer your particular questions. It's tailored specifically to you and where you are in your astrological journey. And I'm happy to help you out with some guidance about how you can get going, what to focus on, and what to dismiss. So that would be the astrological coaching for people trying to learn astrology. The second astrological service I offer is consultations. So this is for someone who perhaps doesn't know anything about astrology, but they just want to have their chart read or get their chart done. Call it what you will. So once more, this is a 1-hour consultation over Zoom. I will interpret your chart, tell you about the main features, tell you about where the energy is flowing, and all the rest of what is entailed in a thorough natal chart interpretation. I can also add in some forecasting in there too, bearing in mind we only have 1 hour. So just in summary, I've got coaching for people who want to learn astrology, and I've got consultations for those who want to get an astrology reading done. I'm Alison Price from Starzology.com. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.